signing Phillip Rivers to the practice squad. Now, he's a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame this year. Now, I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I'm also wondering about this. Once he gets on the roster, he doesn't have to play in a game. Once he's officially on the roster, then they start the clock again. He won't be eligible until 2031. Isn't there another quarterback somewhere in the world who might be a little better than Phillip Rivers? Now, I understand that he understands the offense. He's in contact with Shane Steichen, the head coach, on a weekly basis. I understand all of that. Are you trying to tell me that there's not another quarterback who might be just a better option and a little younger than Phillip Rivers? Just a thought.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. It's Jason Smith.
Oh, you're that bloke on the radio.
It's Mike Harmon.
Ta-da! I'm kind of a big deal.
And they talk sports.
The one person that this playoff is not fun for is my wife.
Amongst other things.
I had an incredibly long dream about Jerry Jones last night.
Really?
Did I mention they're best friends?
You're hateful, and I'm positive.
It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Bang.
Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Yeah! FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
The Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office in Michigan released a statement today around the status of fired Michigan head football coach Sherrone Moore, saying, quote, the matter involving Mr. Moore remains under active investigation, end quote. Moore remains in police custody following his detainment yesterday in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The LA Times reports USC may need to move their home football games in 2028 to SoFi Stadium as the Coliseum may not be ready following the 2028 Olympics. Steelers edge rusher DJ Watt may miss Monday's game against the Dolphins. He was hospitalized overnight. The team says that Watt was dealing with a lung issue in practice on Wednesday and did not practice today. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, a full participant today. No practice for Packers running back Josh Jacobs. The Braves signed former Padres reliever Robert Suarez to a 3-year deal. And Warriors guard Steph Curry on track to return tomorrow from a quad injury that cost him the last 5 games. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, are we ready to go tonight? Thursday edition of the program. I think we're ready. We have some great content, some great guests across the country, across South Dakota. Let's get into this tonight. Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is live. Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates across South Dakota on KWSN Sioux Falls, Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in. It is always a great day in South Dakota. I know it gets tougher to say that, but colder, all that stuff. It is always a great day in South Dakota, and thought-provoking sports talk for South Dakota, from high school to college to the pros. I think we got you covered tonight. If you miss any guests on the show, you can go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show is there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. So a reminder there, we are live right now. You're in luck. A great guest lineup coming up. We are streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. We are on X right now at Nate Brown Show. Interact with us on there as well. If you want to watch us on YouTube, that's great. The Nate Brown Show YouTube channel is live. Subscribe, search for us, The Nate Brown Show. If you're a YouTube guy, you've got us. And Midwest Sports Plus. Hey, high school basketball getting underway on Midwest Sports Plus, and the Nate Brown Show streaming live every afternoon. The new app, if you don't have it, get it, Midwest Sports Plus, and we are there. Thursday show looks good. We've got a report from Ann Arbor tonight. Lucky to get him. He's been busy. He's been all over this stuff. Anthony Broom, On 3 Sports, Michigan football beat writer. He covers the Wolverines, and we all know what's going down there. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. So, Anthony Broom, I'm going to really ask him about, is there any thought of Kalen DeBoer? I talked about it on the show yesterday. I still say I don't see it. But all the national guys, ESPN's Get Up and First Take, and I mean Colin Cowherd, everybody and their mother is saying Kalen DeBoer could go to Michigan because they're going to search him out. Anthony Broom is on tonight on 3 Sports, Michigan football beat writer. He's live from Ann Arbor. Hang on. We're going to go talk to Sundance Wicks tonight. Northern State, great. Now the head men's basketball coach at Wyoming. What's happening at the Sanford Pentagon coming up on Monday night, 6 o'clock? You bet. South Dakota State taking on Wyoming. That's a great game Monday night. I hope you have your tickets at the Pentagon. We'll talk to Sundance Wicks, the Wyoming Cowboys men's basketball coach, joining us live tonight. They're 8-2, getting set to take on the Jacks Monday in Sioux Falls. We'll go FCS playoffs. Sam Herder's joining us live, FCS senior analyst. His take on the quarterfinals coming up. And Craig Maddox on tonight. East River meets West River, our weekly hitter, with Craig Maddox, SDPB Sports. All right, get in on the program if you want. 605-720-1067. I invite you there. 605-720-1067. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. 2 great locations in Brandon and also at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Stop by. Your favorite buffet is at the Pizza Ranch, and 2 locations in Rapid City. Remember the Pizza Ranch, locally owned and operated, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Barron's Wilson text line's open for the show as well. Text the show if you want in, 605-720-1067. That is the Barron's Wilson text line. All right, I have something. I'm going to do a little survey tonight. Let's do a little survey before I get into some FCS stuff tonight. Little survey of the Nate Brown Show audience from Sioux Falls to Rapid City. We've got Jackrabbit alums. We've got Jackrabbit faithful. We've got USD alums. We got Yote faithful. So there's people talking about now that South Dakota State's out and USD is the team that's alive. USD is left. Are Jackrabbit fans, is there a portion of Jackrabbit fans in South Dakota that are rooting for USD to beat Montana? This is always the interesting psychology of the rivalry. So I'm going to ask this question of the day, a big survey tonight. I'm just very curious. I want you to be honest with me. Whatever neck of the woods you're from, Jackrabbit territory, Yote territory, I just want to hear, because I know Yotes fans and I know Jackrabbit fans. And now for me, I'm your unbiased host. You can be sure I'm your unbiased host. Am I the only media member in South Dakota that's unbiased on this? How about that? I might be, though. I mean, I'm looking across the board. Everybody tries acting like they're juiced for this team or juiced for that team. They try acting like that. There's no more pretending. There's no more masquerading around here. I'm your unbiased host. I'm not emotional with either team. So I'm going to give you my answer, okay? You may not like me for this, Jackrabbit fans. If USD is alive, of course I'm going USD. Now, I'm a Montana native, so I'll give you a little background on my deal. If you listen to the show, you know I grew up in Montana, and the Grizz were just dominant back in the day, 1AA. That was when it was 1AA. The Grizz started the dynasty of Dave Dickinson and winning national titles, and Montana State kind of was in there, but not as good as Montana. Then Montana State took over. So I have the Montana connection, too, but I'm not going for the Montana Grizzlies. I grew up with the Grizz. And it's a passionate bunch up there in Montana, but I didn't have any ties. I didn't go there for college. My brother didn't play there, so I don't have any emotional ties there. I am all in on USD, and I would be all in on SDSU as I was last week against Montana. So I'm all in on the South Dakota schools because I'm fair and balanced on the Nate Brown Show. Is that right? That is true. By the way, I'm not just screwing around. I am fair and balanced on USD, SDSU, on an equal opportunity host of South Dakota Sports Talk Show, and we try and cover both programs, talk to both ADs, the whole thing. I'm going to ask you, do you think there is a portion of Jacks fans, I'm talking you're a Jacks fan, do you think there's a portion that is rooting for USD because of the South Dakota and the Missouri Valley connections? Like, hey, if we have a South Dakota school left, even if I'm a Jacks fan, I'm going to go for USD over Montana. So that's my survey on the Nate Brown Show tonight. If you can respond, I would appreciate that. By the way, we're going to start this up, by the way. We have a gift certificate for a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch. Okay? That's we love the Pizza Ranch. And for our question of the day, we're going to start throwing out a free buffet so we can set you up with the good stuff at the Pizza Ranch. So you just answer our question of the day on the Nate Brown Show, and our friends at the Pizza Ranch hook you up with a free gift certificate, right? That's how that goes. So 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line. My question is there a portion of Jacks fans that are rooting for USD to win at Montana this weekend? That's our question of the day. 605-720-1067. Let's see what people are saying early on here. Okay, let me see. I got to pull this up. There's a lot of votes so far. A lot of votes. But while I pull that up, let's go to the phones. Hey, let's get you on. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans. South Dakota, it's about South Dakota.
Okay.
So South Dakota team is in there. We're going to be rooting for them.
Is that right? Now, hang on. Are you a Jacks fan, or are you just either South Dakota team?
I'm a Jacks fan.
You are?
But, yeah.
Wow.
But USD's in, so I'm rooting for USD.
Okay, I like that.
I'm like you. I'm a Montana man.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm originally a Grizzlies guy, and I didn't root for Montana State, but I've been here for 17 years, almost 17 years now, and I'm South Dakota.
Okay, I'm with you.
I like South Dakota.
I like you, man. Thanks for getting in. That guy's my spirit animal right there. From Montana, Grizz guy, but now a South Dakota guy. So that's my guy. That's my guy. Well, that's interesting. So he's a Jacks fan. So he's like, hey, I came to South Dakota. I'm a Jacks fan. With South Dakota left, I'm going USD. So he's going USD. By the way, I've got another listener text online. I just saw this one. It says, I'm pure Jackrabbit through and through, but also pure South Dakotan every time. It's Jacks first, Yotes second. Maybe Northern, Augie, whoever. It's South Dakota over anyone. That's why I bring this up. So is there a big percentage of people out there that say, yeah, I want the Jacks to win. I'm a Jackrabbit fan, so if it's Jacks Yotes, like that rivalry game weeks ago, well, I'm Jacks. But once the Yotes survive, I'm USD. Now, I've heard some from passionate USD fans just in the past half an hour. Because we threw this up on Twitter. I want to make sure we have this. 283 votes right now that continue to come in. 283 votes right now on the Nate Brown Show question of the day. Do you think there's a portion of Jacks fans that root for USD this weekend? It's a rivalry, right? Most of you guys don't get along with teams, with your teams. Now, you all get along because we're great South Dakotans. Just respect, and we're easygoing and the whole thing. But how deep does the passion run? Are you going to – because I did see some Jackrabbit podcasts. You know, the Jackrabbit Internet guys, they're all over the place. All these guys on the Internet. The Jackrabbit podcast, I was watching it, it said, I would never root for USD. These Jackrabbit guys that are doing the podcast, they said, never. And so I know there's that portion out there. So you just tell me. No Jacks fan should root for USD, or you think there is a portion that will root for the Yotes, okay? Let's see. Text coming in. Let's get to some of these best I can. You send them in. We'll see if we can set you up with a buffet at the Pizza Ranch, our local partners. Let's see. Listener text. Here we go. Let's run through them on the Nate Brown Show, 605-720-1067. Listener text. I am a Jacks fan, but I'm cheering on the Yotes. I'm surprised by this. I am surprised by this. I thought this was a heated rivalry. Let's see. Hang on a second. Yes, Jacks fan here. Go Yotes. Anyone but the fluffy cows. All right. So we hate North Dakota State worse. So we really hate North Dakota State. I can't believe listener text. I'm a South Dakota sports fan. Go Yotes. Okay. So I think that means I'm a South Dakota sports fan, not a USD fan. So he's just a South Dakota guy, and he says go Yotes. We got a Jax alum here. I want to get to this one. Jax alumni cheering for the Yotes. Oh, no. Jax alumni cheering for the Yotes, not just no, hell no. This is a family-friendly show. So finally somebody, that's like one of the first ones I've seen that said, no, I cannot cheer for the Yotes. I mean, it's like I have this buddy. He's a Broncos fan. He's trying to convince me when the Broncos have been bad the last 10 years that we should root for the Chiefs because it's the division. This guy's a lunatic. He said, hey, it's our division. Go for the AFC and go for the AFC West. I said, are you nuts? Come on now. Thanks for getting in. You're live and you go ahead. Oh, I lost him. All right. We'll see if we can get you back. 605-720-1067. Lister text, now that SDSU is eliminated, I would hope at least some SDSU fans would root for USD. What's the harm in doing so? So you're telling me the passion doesn't run that deep? The hatred doesn't run that deep. That's what you're telling me. That's interesting. That is interesting. Hey, I've got a response from Dallas. This is a South Dakota State guy. I think he said he played there. Let's see here. Dallas, he played there. 0.0% of the people who answered yes are Jax fans. So he said, no way. He said this is a USD plant. People are voting on this saying, oh, yeah, we're going for USD. We're cheering for USD. This is Dallas Jax. He said 0.0% of the people who say yes are not Jax fans. All right. 56% are voting no. There is not a big portion of Jax fans rooting for USD. 56% say no. 44% say yes. Some Jax fans want USD to win this weekend. Listener text. SDSU fans do realize that there's other teams that exist outside of the Jax, right? My goodness, we got some good stuff tonight. Lister text, root for the home team no matter what. Root for the home team no matter what. Lister text, I don't think the Jax despise the Yotes like the Yotes despise the Jax. Okay. Lister text, yes, I am rooting for USD, and I'm a South Dakota State fan. I mean, this is amazing. This is amazing. Lister text, Nate, I'm an SDSU fan, but I'm cool with USD winning, as long as they don't brag about it forever. Well, of course they're going to brag about it. If USD beats Montana Saturday, they're going to say, whew, look at us, man. Pop the chest out a little bit. Jax, sorry, you guys almost had it. You almost had it, but we got it. Yotes alum checking in. Let's see. I'm a Yotes fan and alum. I bet most Jax fans can't cheer for the Yotes, really. Maybe only against the Bison. Maybe only against the Bison. There was a USD fan who posted here. I want to see if I can find this. He's a USD, really a super fan. And hang on a second. We got Matt Zimmer checking in tonight. You guys know Matt Zimmer at all? Matt Zimmer from Sioux Falls Live says, your answer to the question is generally no. Yotes fans don't root for the Jax. Jax fans don't root for the Yotes. But there's many people in South Dakota in the middle who didn't attend either school that will root for both when they go this far. Interesting. Matt Zimmer checking in. USD superfan Mark. I do not subscribe to this. Many of my favorite people are Rabbit fans, but I hope they never win another game ever. Now, there's the passion. There's the passion. Let's see. Lister text, I'm a Yote alum. We don't want the sympathy SDSU vote. Go Yotes. Yeah. Listener text one more. If you were born and raised in South Dakota, you root for the state teams above anything else. Are the Jacks fans just, are the Jacks fans, most of them being nice outside of the internet podcast hosts? Are the Jacks fans being nice today, this weekend? They don't want your sympathy. But I think it's interesting that Jacks fans are checking in on the show, and they are rooting for... I mean, this is telling me there is a portion that are rooting for USD this weekend. I'm a little surprised by that. However, our poll results as we move on to Michigan tonight. Right now, the results, the votes keep coming in over 300. Over 300 votes. 57% say Jacks fans should not root for the Yotes. 57% say no Jacks fan, no true Jacks fan should root for the Yotes. 43% say yes, some of us Jacks fans want USD to win. It's a pretty big number. Interesting survey. We'll get into more of this. Let's go to Michigan. Lucky to get this guy. He's covering this story in depth. Anthony Broome, we've had him on over the years. He's a Michigan football beat writer. He's with On3 Sports. His site is thewolverine.com. He's live in Ann Arbor with the latest. Does he think they have an interest in Kalen DeBoer? Anthony Broome from Ann Arbor coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback Credit Card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
Save big money on new appliances when you shop at Menards. We have an excellent in-stock appliance selection. We carry great brands at the best prices. Ready to take home? Today. Save big on a Whirlpool top-load washer or electric dryer. Right now, get them on sale for just $628 each. Good through December 14th. View our entire selection of appliances on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for great deals happening this week.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon with a slight chance for rain. High temperatures reach up to 47. Northwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight. Slight chance for rain showers mixing with and changing to snow. Lows level off around 20. 1 to 3 inches of snow tomorrow through Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 38 degrees.
Kickoff just got bigger. Murphy's Pub and Grill is back with NFL Sunday Ticket. That means every game, every team, every Sunday. Right here at your favorite bar. Cheer loud, eat big, and score with Murphy's game day specials on food and drinks. The atmosphere, electric. The staff, legendary. The screens, everywhere. This season, don't just watch football. Experience it. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, baby. Murphy's Pub and Grill, your new football headquarters. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center's people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Hey, welcome in. Just getting started tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Thanks for contributing to the question of the day. If you haven't gotten in, you can. We'll set you up with a free gift certificate for a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch. One of our great partners, Pizza Ranch in Brandon. It's great. East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and 2 locations in Rapid City. Home of everyone's favorite buffet. We'll set you up. 605-720-1067 is the Barron's Wilson text line. And our question of the day to answer tonight: do you think there's a big portion of Jacks fans that will root for USD against Montana? What say you? It's been mixed tonight. Hey, let's go to Anthony Broom. He's been on over the years. I've got him tonight. He's very busy, so we appreciate it. Some insight and perspective on the biggest story in sports. On 3 Sports Michigan writer. The site is thewolverine.com. Thewolverine.com. Anthony, welcome in. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you. I know it's busy, it's hectic, it's wild. Do you tell me the last I came on this show about this time yesterday. We're about 24 hours into this. What has this been like from a journalistic side?
Well, the canned line I keep using is that yesterday I went to Ann Arbor to cover a toy drive for the men's basketball team, and I never made it. I did a podcast in my car. I went to 2 police stations and called the Washtenaw County Jail. And then that was how the night went. So that was just the firing that occurred yesterday was now, in hindsight, like the least shocking thing that happened.
Yeah, this thing has gone more and more. Sharon Moore, head coach at Michigan, fired yesterday, but now still in custody. So can you tell me the latest, Anthony? You've been on this. I mean, he's in custody. Is he going to be in court tomorrow to face charges? What's going on?
Yeah, it sounds like there will be an arraignment tomorrow. If he is facing charges, it's still an ongoing investigation. And these are assault charges that they are looking into. Coming from the kind of the fallout of this crash out that he had after he was told by Michigan that he was fired. So that's this is again. I don't think the twists and turns in this story are over. I think that there's going to be probably more that comes out over the next couple of days where this kind of bottoms out for Michigan, and then you pick up pieces from there.
Anthony Broom on tonight. Follow his work at thewolverine.com, on 3 Sports Michigan writer. So one report I saw this afternoon was that Ward Manuel, he's the AD at Michigan, so just make sure people are aware that he fired Sharon Moore just by himself. Nobody around, HR, no security. Were you surprised by that report?
I don't know if surprise is the word. I mean, this has been a kind of an athletic director and an administration that has not always done things by the book and not acted super professionally. I have to be honest. I am not an expert on Michigan's HR and dismissal policies, but typically speaking, when you're dismissed from a job, there's someone from HR present. There is security to escort you out of the building, and that's not to say like everything that happened afterwards is Michigan's fault. Like they weren't going to send a black SUV around and follow this guy after he was dismissed, but with credible reports that his mental health, with the walls kind of closing in on him, was declining, and it just doesn't feel right. And they don't carry any of the blame for what happened. To be honest, I think the report is kind of, it's a bit of a hit piece to maybe forward an agenda from whoever's leaking it, but at the end of the day, like the process is the process, and this is something that's gotten pretty ugly pretty quickly.
Anthony Broom on tonight from thewolverine.com, covering the Michigan story, biggest story in sports. Let me ask you, what's going to be harder for the university to find a coach now? We got to find a coach, or the seriousness of this for the university and battling that PR side of it?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about the Sherrone Moore situation. There were probably football reasons to fire him. Obviously, none of that even becomes a factor when you have what's gone down. But they will have a better head coach just by default out of this. Now, they're going to try and swing big with a guy like Kalen DeBoer. Maybe you see Kenny Dillingham, Eli Drinkwitz, just a couple names to throw out there. Jesse Minter, who's now with the Chargers. I think this will very quickly become two separate things. I don't know what Ward Manuel's future is. It does not seem like it is very bright. I don't know if he how involved, if at all, he'll be with making this next hire. So there's a lot of stuff to clean up. It's kind of a disaster.
Who talked Ward Manuel into having Sherrone Moore be the head coach at Michigan? That's been everybody's discussion now. Nobody knew all this stuff was going to happen, but they just said from a football side, just like he walked into the position. How did that happen?
Well, I think the timeline that wound up taking place had a big role to play in all that. I think they would have loved to have Kalen DeBoer, but Nick Saban retires. He's at Alabama before Jim Harbaugh has even officially left Michigan yet. So I'll defend the process. I think it was the next most logical thing to do. But it became pretty clear pretty quickly that this was too big for him. And not that we ever could have predicted something like this happening, but this job is Michigan's not a place where you can learn on the job and just not even learn to coach football, learn to be a good person too, which very clearly he wasn't. So it's rough. And that process and that hire will probably ruin a lot of lives.
Anthony Broome on tonight. Couple more, I'll let him run. TheWolverine.com, On 3 Sports. Find him on X at Anthony T. Broome. You can find him there for coverage of the story. So you mentioned Kalen DeBoer. He's a South Dakota guy. Millbank, South Dakota. We're huge fans of his. We followed his career. I've had him on the show numerous times. He's a quality guy. I don't know if he's going to leave Alabama or not, and I don't know any Kalen's thinking. I don't know, Anthony, but it's Alabama. Can Michigan talk him into something like that?
I don't know. I think they're going to try. I think that it's very important that there's alignment here. I think it's very important that you make him an offer that he has to say no to, and then you see what happens from there. I think that's where I think this search starts. Was from there. But like I said before, I think they're going to get a very good coach out of this. I just don't know if he's going to be the one.
Okay, so you mentioned Kalen DeBoer. That's where this search starts. How good is Michigan football, the roster? How good is this team right now, and what happens to these recruits?
Well, I think it would be insulting to suggest that there's not going to be some sort of attrition. I think there is a holding pattern right now. It starts with Bryce Underwood. I think that camp is going to wait and see what type of hire Michigan makes. This was the youngest team in the Big Ten, and they played a light schedule, but they won 9 games. I think there are tangible reasons to feel like if they had a big offseason via the portal with some of the high school talent that are coming in, that you can take that jump next year, even with a tougher schedule. But in the here and now, I think that, guys are just trying to take a deep breath, maybe get prepped for this bowl game with the best they can, and then you'll see what happens from there. But it's really tough to know who's going to be on this roster right now.
Yeah, I'm going to say, do you think some of the guys that they just brought in, and then now Sherrone Moore is fired? I saw a kid from Billings, Montana, a 4-star guy, said he's going to rethink this now. Do you think that's going to happen more?
I think so. I think that as things cool down, it's important to not make a hasty decision. We haven't really, I'll just be honest, I think from the player side of things, I can't speak for recruits, but there's a lot more relief in this than there is guys looking to leave, at least for right now. There's a lot to sort out still, but I don't think anyone in the building is all that surprised by what's gone down. It was one of the worst kept secrets in Ann Arbor, which is a darn shame, but that is where they're at. So, like I said, it's really I think anything and everything's on the table.
Last one. I know football's way down the list because it's serious stuff, apparently, or potentially with some of this going on with Sherrone Moore. But did this impact him as a football coach? Do you believe these allegations, what was going on?
I think not. The allegations are what they are, regardless, in terms of what Michigan fired him for. But there are guys that go through the coaching rehab cycle, and maybe you reemerge a couple years down the road as a position coach or whatever it is. With this now being potentially a criminal situation with the crash out that occurred after the firing, I have a hard time right now thinking that he does have a football future at all.
Yeah. A wild story, just a wild one. And Anthony Broome on tonight. He joins us on Fox Sports South Dakota, thewolverine.com, on 3 Sports. Anthony, thanks for hopping in, man. I appreciate you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Wow. Thanks a lot. Anthony Broome on the Nate Brown Show tonight. On 3 Sports, Michigan football beat writer. The website's thewolverine.com, part of the On 3 Sports Network. Anthony Broome live from Ann Arbor. Boy, the hot spot in sports, no doubt. So if you've been following this, because people have been trying to get caught up on this, we live and breathe it every day. Hey, what's popping? What's going on? So I think it's worth kind of explaining the deal. Sherrone Moore gets fired yesterday and is fired because of an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan football staff member. Okay. And then allegedly after that, after he was fired, then he allegedly went to that staff member's place, and that's where these potential charges may be coming up on potential assault charges. Investigation's ongoing. His arraignment's going to be tomorrow. So it went from a football thing to a inappropriate relationship, okay, you're done thing, to maybe a worse thing. And now the other side of this is people keep mentioning Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer, you just heard Anthony Broome on 3 Sports live in Ann Arbor. He said the search should start with Kalen DeBoer. That is interesting. Because we talked about this yesterday on the show. Kalen DeBoer's at Alabama. That's a big job. And people, I think, from the outside have been trying to say, for whatever reason, oh, it's just he's not happy there. It's a bad fit. Things aren't going there. Things aren't going well there. I don't know about that. I mean, people are throwing all sorts of stuff around. It's hard to, I don't know what to believe. But I'd still be surprised if Kalen DeBoer says, I'm going to bag it at Alabama and go to Michigan. I would still be surprised. But people say, oh, this is the fit. He was at Indiana, upper Midwest guy. He knows the Big Ten. He can get this done. We're going to give him all this money, bring in some integrity, some character. This is Kalen DeBoer running Michigan. And he leaves Alabama to do it? Is it that much of a pressure cooker at Alabama that Coach DeBoer would think about that? Michigan sounds like they might put on the full court press on DeBoer. All right, interesting stuff. It's a wild story. Good to have Anthony Broome on to give some light from the Michigan side with On 3 Sports. Hey, I've got a good guy next. South Dakota State men's basketball is playing Monday night at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. This is a great matchup. I hope you're going to be there. South Dakota State taking on Wyoming. The head coach for the Cowboys is Sundance Wicks. If you haven't ever heard him, we've had him on numerous times. We've got him tonight from Laramie. Sundance Wicks and his 8-2 Wyoming Cowboys coming to play SDSU on Monday, and we'll talk to Coach Wicks coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sport.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Big-time interviews and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
And welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. Fox Sports Radio across the state, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and of course Fox Sports Rapid City. Big one coming up in college men's basketball Monday night, Sanford Pentagon. The Wyoming Cowboys coming in to take on SDSU. Cowboys rolling right now. They just beat USD 106-79 in Laramie. They're 8-2. The head coach for the Pokes is Sundance Wicks, and he joins us courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Coach, good to get you back on. How are you?
Nate Brown, Pizza Ranch Hotline, and Pizza Ranch for the win. I'm a big fan of Pizza Ranch there, Nate, man.
Okay, I love that. Thanks for the shout-out. Hey, I got to ask you about this game you just played. You put up another big number, 106. You take care of USD. I watched USD in Rapid City a couple of weeks ago against Air Force. They really handled Air Force. So what'd you think of your win, 106-79 over a pretty intense Yotes team that gets after you?
But yeah, Eric Peterson does a phenomenal job. They're Press Dakota, right? They're Press Dakota, and they get up and down. And I thought it was a good night for our guys. I mean, I'd had this game keyed up for a while. I mean, we got our butts whipped up there at Vermilion last year, and I wanted to have our guys ready. And part of this process for us, Nate, was recruiting a full cycle here of guys that could really handle the basketball. Good guards win games, and good bigs can win you championships. And so for us, we just wanted to go get a bunch of guards that could handle that Press Dakota, and our guys were ready to play. And I'll give a little bit of shout out here too. I mean, that was the second night on a back-to-back pretty much for South Dakota, playing at Northern Colorado, overtime, and then having to come up to the AA in the Dome of Doom. That's no small feat. So they were really road warriors.
Yeah, you guys took care of them. Wyoming's 8-2. Head coach Sundance Wicks is on. He's coming to South Dakota to take on the Jackrabbits Monday night in Sioux Falls at the Sanford Pentagon. I want to talk about some of your balance here. I've been noticing following your program, guys are scoring 20 points, and not just one guy or two guys. I think you got like 5 guys. How has that come together? It seems like there's not one guy going off.
It's a big thing, though. It's a point of pride for us. We play 12 guys, and really what it is we get best on best every day in practice, Nate. Our gold team was beating our brown team today, and then I had to get on the brown team's ass, and then our brown team starts beating the gold team. But it's good competitive practices. We don't treat this like the NBA, man. We still practice hard. We put our pads on. We go to work. We still hit bodies, and I think that's made our guys better. And I love the fact that we don't have a guy that just leads us in scoring every single night. We're a hard scout. And you got to put all 12 guys on the scout report, because if you leave Adam Herikow off the scout report, he's liable to go in there and get 18 on you. You leave Demarion Dennis off. You leave Sim Sadi off. He can go off and go get some points. And that's just a testament to our staff, how we recruited in the portal, strategically trying to find guys that were competitive every single day and love playing basketball. I mean, that's just the Cowboy way, man. You got to get up and compete every dang day, Nate.
I like it. Wyoming men's basketball coach Sundance Wicks joins us tonight. We're getting ready for a Wyoming SDSU matchup in Sioux Falls Monday. You keep talking about getting the right recruits, getting the right players. How do you build a culture, Coach? You're a big culture guy. Like, hey, we're going to do it this way. We're going to build. We're going to have buy-in. How do you build a culture every year, new players? And it feels like that's college basketball. So how do you do it?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of players in the United States of America, right, and across the pond. But I think the one thing that we look for more than anything else is competitive resilience. We just like guys who like to compete. I don't care who you are. I'm a hooper, man. I still go in the gym. I still shoot. Man, I love to shoot, right? I get flashbacks of my Northern State days and just going out there and strapping it at the old Barnett Center, And you gotta find guys who love to play basketball. That will never change. And if you love to play basketball, culture is easy. I mean, it's when guys feel entitled, or they feel like you owe them something, or maybe they're a little bit soft or too sweet, have too much sugar in the tank. We just want hard-rocking dudes, man, who love to play basketball and compete every single day. And we find that type of dude. Those guys make it in our program, man, because we're a love it and live it program. If you like it, you ain't going to make it here in Old Laradice, brother. You got to love it and you got to live it, and that's our style, man. That's how we go find guys.
You went to Texas Tech. That's a great program. They're ranked number 16. You were in the game the whole time. You lost only by 4. When you watch that film, when you break that game down, what does it tell you about this team? That was a good program.
Yeah, just, guys just never give up. It didn't go right for us all the time at Texas Tech. We got down in a couple big runs, and our guys fought back, and they got back in the game. And that's a really good Texas Tech team, right? It's a top 25 team. And for our guys to go down there, I think that was the first sign of belief where you got to have some proof of concept that you can compete with the big boys if you want to have a chance to win a championship. And that was the first sign that our guys got. And then that kind of carried over into our next couple games where our guys were ready to rock and roll. And I think even though you lose a tough one, man, my old college coach, Don Meyer, everybody knows this. He says, even when they lose, they win. And we try to be a program that if we take a loss, we still win because we're learning lessons and we're playing the right way. And that's the only way I can honor my former coach, who I love dearly, is just to get our guys to play the right way.
Wyoming's 8-2. Good start to the year. It's South Dakota State in Sioux Falls at the Sanford Pentagon. I'm going to get to that. One thing I want to hear here. You guys are getting after it defensively. You're committing some fouls. Are you committing too many fouls? How do you fix that?
Way too many, Nate. And, we're bringing the towels out in practice tomorrow. I'm going to have towels. Our guys, they can't use their hands. They got their towels around the waist. They got to slide their feet. They got to foul guys with their chest. We're just too handsy right now. And anybody that's smart would just say, hey, drive them and attack them. Guys are going to put their hands on them. But I'll tell you, man, it's been weird. We went down to Texas Tech. We played them in the first 18 minutes of the basketball game. The foul count was 2-1. So I'm not sure if it's just the level and the officiating that's going on, or if Big 12 refs differently than Mountain West refs. I mean, I can't quite put my thumb on it, but I know this. We've consistently fouled way too much. You got to defend without fouling if you want to win games. Your opponent can't make more free throws than you attempt. And that's, South Dakota State does a great job, man. They're a really well-coached program. I got a lot of family who's got degrees from South Dakota State, right? And so I'm trying to get my guys to cheer for the Cowboys and not the Jackrabbits.
Okay, there will be a Sioux Falls crowd there. It's the Pentagon. It's a unique venue. It's not huge.
Nate, let me tell you about the Pentagon, Nate, okay? We're talking about the Northern State Wolves 2017-18 National Championship run, Final Four, double overtime game against Queens.
Yes.
To play in the Natty versus Ferris State, lose on a buzzer beater, right? Like, we had that place rocking. The maroon and gold sea. It was the Barnett Center South in the Pentagon. That's a home away for home for the old Wolves. Now, going into Jackrabbits country, I know they're going to be out there in full force, and we wanted it to be a road game. We wanted it to have that feel. Ken Palm will tell you it's semi away, but I know better than that. All right, that's going to be Frost South. That's the way it should be, and we're excited to go into a hostile environment up there and play a really good team on the road.
Great history with Northern State, of course. Sundance Wicks on. He's at Wyoming. What do you think of South Dakota State as a basketball team? They're 6-5, a little up and down early here for Coach Peterson. What do they look like?
He's finding his groove right now. They got great consistency. They have retention, right? And that's 90% of the battle right now in college athletics is, can you retain your roster? I mean, they play big basketball, man. They play two bigs together all the time. They got great guards. They're really solid. I know what kind of dogfight's going to be up there. I know what that game's going to be like, and we don't underestimate anybody to let you know that fact. But they're one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country. We try to pride ourselves in going getting some O boards. Something's got to give there. And then they shoot the three ball well and defend the three well, right? And so I think there's going to be a little tug of war here because we like to defend the three-point line. They do a great job of doing it. They're top 20 in the country in that as well. They don't give up O boards, and they don't beat themselves. And they're a team that challenges themselves early on in their schedule. They played an early non-conference schedule. It's pretty tough. And so they're going to be ready, and then we just got to make sure the Pokes are ready to play in the old Pentagon, baby.
You are worried about the Mountain West first, but what do you think South Dakota State in the Summit League? You think a top team in the Summit League?
Always, every year, they always compete. Every year they compete for the championship. I mean, that's one of those things where you can't count those guys out. Every single year, it's going to be a South Dakota State, North Dakota State, right? And St. Thomas has been playing well lately. Omaha, obviously, last year, but the history tells you, don't count the Jackrabbits out, man. It's a solid program right there.
Sundance Wicks, before you get out of here on non-conference play with the Jackrabbits at the Pentagon Monday night, what does the Mountain West look like? You guys have had a nice record right now non-conference-wise. What is this conference, man? This is a tough basketball league.
Tough league. I call it the Mountain West for a reason. It's the one that if you stay up late nights and you put on your TV, man, you're going to find some Mountain West basketball. It's high-level basketball. Two great wins last night. Our league, New Mexico, goes to VCU, beats them on the road, right? And then Boise State beats Duquesne at Duquesne. I'm just telling you right now, maybe we didn't start as hot as teams as a lot of pundits thought we were going to start, but the Mountain West is really starting to pick it up. You got about 5 or 6 teams in the top 100 in the net. It's a hell of a league, Nate, as you well know. So everybody out there in the multiverse, man, stay up late and watch Mountain West basketball. You won't regret it.
No, I'm with you. I'm a fan of it. Sundance Wicks getting set to bring his guys to South Dakota. They're coming to Sioux Falls. Jackrabbits, Cowboys, Monday night, Sanford Pentagon. If you don't have the tickets, get them, get ready. Coach, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you.
Nate, dog, if you ain't wearing blue on Monday, make sure you get some brown and gold on you.
I love that guy right there. I mean, that guy's just got some energy. That is Sundance Wicks, Wyoming Cowboys, men's basketball coach. He's coming to Sioux Falls Monday. Jackrabbits, Cowboys at the Sanford Pentagon. That's going to be a great matchup. Wyoming is 8-2. Jackrabbits 6-5. Sundance Wicks tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Hey, there's a new survey out today while I have the Wyoming coach on tonight. New survey on Wyoming Cowboy athletics. What percentage of their state citizens have a source of pride in Wyoming Cowboy athletics? So this was done to see how much support do the citizens of Wyoming have for the university athletic department. So it's really interesting, and I'm wondering, what would that look like in South Dakota? Now, I know Wyoming's just got the one university. Everybody gets behind the bucking horse, right? Powder River, Letterbuck, the whole thing. It's one university. So here's the results. This is interesting. This is University of Wyoming. What percentage of citizens, these are randomly selected across Wyoming. Old, young, sports fans, non-sports fans, randomly selected. 84% of citizens responded saying Wyoming Cowboy athletics is a source of pride for the state. 84%. Random survey, not just sports fans. Another 84% responded same thing. Wyoming Cowboy Athletics is a source of identity for the entire state. So that's the Wyoming survey. Let me take a time out and come right back. What percentage of South Dakota citizens would say the Yotes and the Jacks, athletics now, are a source of pride for the state? Well, how much connection do we have with the Jackson Yotes? Let's get into that coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. You found us. We're live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. So let me ask you all, South Dakota sports fans, if you walk down the street today in your city and you ask somebody, how much pride do the Jacks bring for our state? How much pride do the Yotes bring for our state? what would that answer be? You'd run into Jimmy Lipper. You'd be like, where's USD at? Oh, anyway. Thanks for playing, Jimmy. On to whatever you're doing today. I see these guys walking around. But I'm just asking because the University of Wyoming did their survey, and 84% of their state citizens, a random survey, you just heard that, but if you're just tuning in, 84% of their citizens, old, young, sports, non-sports, they say Wyoming Cowboy athletics is a source of pride for the state. It's a huge number. It's a big number just when you're taking, because there's a lot of booger eaters out there. Those are non-sports fans, by the way. That's my terminology. So rude, isn't it? But, I mean, there's guys that just hate sports. Or, people that say, sports, it costs too much money. We shouldn't even have college sport. So those guys. And 84% in Wyoming citizens said University of Wyoming athletics is a source of pride and gives an identity to the state. If I ask that question in South Dakota, that's what I'm going to do right now on the Nate Brown Show. I'm going to ask that question right now. What percentage of South Dakota citizens would say the same about SDSU and USD athletics? Because that's where you want to go. You want to get to the FBS level of, you do. People say, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe. People talked about Division II, and then they worried about jumping to the FCS. You remember that? Well, it was absolutely a slam dunk. So people can say what they want about the good old days. SDSU and USD going D1, FCS was absolutely a slam dunk. I mean, it's not even a debate anymore. And so if you want to take yourself up and ratchet it up, how much pride is it a source of identity for the state? Yoda Athletics and Jackrabbit Athletics. I think we're biased here as sports fans listening to this program, interacting with this show. People are going to say, of course, it's got to be like, we'd be like 84%, right? I'm not so sure because I still think the Jacks and the Yotes, we have other universities, so that factors into, unlike Wyoming. But how about like Montana? University of Montana, man, you're either a Grizz or a Bobcat up there. They have all these other universities too. But you're a Grizz or a Bobcat, and you pick a side in the Brawl of the Wild and the whole thing, that whole state is consumed by the Grizz and the Bobcats. It is consumed. I can't say the same yet for South Dakota. I can't say it. I've been here 25 years. I can't say the same for South Dakota. What percentage would that be? It's probably maybe 70%. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think it's... if Wyoming with one university and the strong brand of the Bucket Horse and the Wyoming identity, they have it on their license plates, So if that's at 84%, you just take a standard survey in this state. Hey, Yoda Athletics, Jackrabbit Athletics, do you consider it a source of pride for the state? There would be some people like, I've never even been to a game. That's true. And I will say this. I'm going to pick on West River a touch. I'm going to pick on West River. There's a disconnect. There is Jackrabbit Club and Jackrabbit alums and the whole thing. There's passionate fans. By the way, I talked to 2 USD fans just over the weekend. They're passionate. There was some nice crowds watching the Jackrabbit women's basketball team in Rapid City, a nice crowd watching USD men. So, there's some passion there. But there is a disconnect, something about East River, the games are always over there. We don't get to watch them as much. We're just not kind of connected with them. There is a disconnect with the distance, with the passion. I've talked to people on the street. This is serious. I've talked to people to be like, hey, SCSU's playing. Oh, wait, where's that at? Isn't that in Vermilion? No. We can't have that. We can't have that anymore. Listener text 605-720-1067. Question of the day. I am throwing it out there. What's your guess? If Wyoming citizens say 84% of them say the Wyoming Cowboy Athletic Department's a source of pride for the state, what percentage of South Dakota citizens would say the same for SDSU and USD athletics? Here's my poll results so far. 68% of the audience has voted, we would have over 75% of our citizens say that. Is that right? I think that, I mean, we want them to say that. I don't know if we would. Over 75% would say that. 20% of you have voted saying we'd have about half of our citizens say it. And then 12% of you have voted it would be below 50% that would say USD and SDSU athletic department bring pride to the state. Listener text, there would be less than 84% in South Dakota. Wyoming only has the University of Wyoming. That's a big deal. No, I think that's right. And that's why I do bring up Montana. So they're very similar. Montana has all these other universities too, Division II, NAIA, stuff like that. So like South Dakota, there's tremendous brand awareness in Montana for the Grizz and the Bobcats. Tremendous. And that's really what this is, like this survey is about. What do people think of the Yotes and the Jacks brand in South Dakota? It's better than it ever has been. I will say that. Way, way better. And that's what I mean by jumping from D2 to this Division I level. That has been huge. I mean, huge. But we still have a ways to go, I think, to connect and grow the brands of the Yotes and the Jacks. It's better than ever. But I don't think it's at Montana level. I don't think it's at Wyoming level. But it is growing. It is growing with the success that they've had. And by the way, are you cheering for USD this Saturday? I've already asked Jacks fans today, are you cheering for USD this Saturday at Montana? Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, let's get the second hour started. A couple of things here. The Vikings should really, really think about this. There was a comment made yesterday, and the Vikings need to take a serious look coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Watiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WatikiWaterPark.com.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
We all know the drill. Packing the car, hitting the airport, traveling all over the country so our kids can play in tourneys in another state. But imagine bringing those tournaments to Rapid City. Year-round entertainment, shopping, dining. Millions in new revenue for Rapid City instead of Sioux Falls, Denver, or Omaha. A yes vote supports the sports complex. We win by showing up and voting yes on January 20th. Join the team at teamrapidcity.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Growth.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Over $73,000 in cash and prizes are up for grabs this November and December during the Cash Climb at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort. Be here every Friday and Saturday starting at 8 p.m. for your chance to win prize packages from $300 all the way up to $1,000 at midnight. If a winner isn't present, the prize rolls over, making the next drawing even bigger. It all leads up to the grand prize drawings on December 27th. Only at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Happy holidays, everyone. I'm here with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales, and you have some last-minute gift ideas.
That we do. For someone who has everything, we have gift certificates for automotive detailing packages and for remote start systems. And with each gift certificate purchase, get a $15 Walmart gift card, but only till December 31st.
So you're giving away a $15 Walmart gift card with every detail or remote start gift certificate?
Yes, sir, and our complete details start at $219 for sedans and from $249 for most pickups and SUVs.
And on the remote starts?
We have Drone Mobile and Arctic Start remote start systems from just $369. And yes, get a $15 Walmart gift card with any gift certificate purchased for a remote start system too. Call us for more information or if you have any questions.
Get your gift certificates today, but only till December 31st. Anytime Auto Sales, service and detail. The place for price and trust on everything automotive. AnytimeAnytime.com or the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Hey, thanks for making this show possible. You guys mean a lot. We appreciate you tuning in on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it's always a great day in South Dakota, the theme of the program. The Nate Brown Show is on. Appreciate you being here. Good guest lineup. Still a lot to get to tonight for your drive home. Craig Maddox coming up, SDPB Sports, our East River meets West River hitter every week. Craig Maddox on the way. Sam Herder's in with his breakdown of the FCS quarterfinals. Let's get his take on USD shot at Montana and more. Sam Herder's with Hero Sports, National FCS Senior Analyst. Sam Herder on tap. The Nate Brown Show, powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union. I want to tell you, it's my family's banking partner. Right now, I've got the mobile app right on my phone, so I'm telling you, I get a lot of benefits from BHFCU. We switch from another bank, and people say, oh, it's a pain. They make it easy. I'm telling you, become a member at Black Hills Federal Credit Union, whether it's great rates on vehicle loans that you're looking for, maybe it's personal, business, they do it all. Go to bhfcu.com, 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls, bhfcu.com. Get started, become a member at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Let them help you from personal to business banking. Again, bhfcu.com. Make the switch. I did. It's worth it. Let me ask you the question of the day tonight. It's a big one. Big question. 363 votes. Let's update this question of the day, guys. 363 votes. So people are chiming in with USD playing at Montana. People are having a debate in South Dakota. Do you think there's a big portion of Jacks fans that are rooting for USD to win because South Dakota's left is the only South Dakota school left? And a lot of Jacks fans, I could give a rip. But people have, I've heard this, and people were texting into the show in the first hour. Jackrabbit alums are texting and they say, yeah, I'll go for USD, just don't tell them. Well, I am telling them. Do you think there's a big portion of Jacks fans that are rooting for USD with the South Dakota connection to beat the Grizz this weekend? That's my question of the day. Text line is where you answer it tonight. A lot of answers coming in. You fill me in. 605-720-1067. Here's one on the text line. We haven't been able to get to some of these. Here's one. Yes, I'm a Jacks fan, but go Yotes. Okay? Another one. I'm a Jacks fan, and I'm cheering on the Yotes. South Dakota through and through. Listener text. Go Yotes. South Dakota fans, you have to stick with them even when the Jacks are out. Anything to put South Dakota on the map. Boy, I think there's a lot. There's a chunk of folks in this state that aren't Jackrabbit homers. Like they're not anybody. Anybody. It's just the Jacks, nobody else, right? So there's a big chunk of sports fans, I think, that maybe don't have an allegiance to the Jacks or the Yotes that say, yeah, I'm going to go USD. And that is me, by the way. I didn't graduate at either institution, okay? I didn't have family that went to either institution, so I don't have that. Just been following them through the FCS ranks as they've risen their programs and the profile and had the success. So I've cheered for the Jacks. I've cheered for the Yotes. And I'm all in on the Yotes this weekend. Your unbiased host. Okay. let me ask you about something, Vikings fans. This might just be crazy, but I have to mention it because BetMGM just put out a message. This is BetMGM Sportsbook. They just put out a message. They said the Vikings are the number one option if Joe Burrow were to leave Cincinnati. Now, where would this come from? Well, hang on a second. Did you see Joe Burrow yesterday? Maybe you didn't. I will tell you. Joe Burrow, I don't know if he's just having a bad day. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. He's coming off the injury. They've lost. They just lost to the Bills. I don't know. But Joe Burrow looked down, and he talked down yesterday. Here's the quote from Joe Burrow. There's just a lot of things going on right now. A lot of things going on right now. He looked despondent. So those were his two things. A lot of things going on right now. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it, you know? I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So everybody took that Joe Burrow yesterday and said, man, is this guy going to retire early? He's 29 years old. Is he going to pull an Andrew Luck? Or could he go to a different team? Maybe it's just bad in Cincinnati and he wants out of there. Now, keep in mind, Joe, you just went to a Super Bowl not that long ago. Do you remember? I mean, it's like, I don't know what it is with these guys. Some of these guys, it's like, I got to have fun doing this. If I'm not having fun, it's like, come on, bro. You're getting paid a ton. Yeah, I don't know if I want, I mean, is he the leader for that team? But let me just tell you right now, I have Vikings fans that text me. I have this Vikings fan. He sent me a text earlier and said, Joe Burrow sounds like he's not having fun. The Vikings should get serious with this. And I don't know what to tell you guys on this because are you telling me Cincinnati would just let him go? Well, Cincinnati's not going to let him go. Well, you got to give him picks. You got to give him picks. And maybe if he's unhappy, that's the scenario. And I guess because big-time star athletes these days, whether it started in the NBA, and now it's even bled into the NFL, where if you're really unhappy, you can usually get your way and get out of there. You can do that. So if Joe Burrow was really unhappy, could he get out of there? If that is the case, I will tell you, I'm not a hot take guy, but that would be a BetMGM just put out the number one landing spot should be the Minnesota Vikings for Joe Burrow. Throw to Justin Jefferson and Addison, and I mean, he's got it going on. Vikings fans, I'm just trying to give you a little hope. It's a cold, dark winter. You got J.J. McCarthy. He gave you a little hope last week, right? But let me just tell you, I don't care about McCarthy. I got the other number 9. If Joe Burrow is really unhappy and he's going to try and find his way out of Cincinnati, the Vikings should be on this tomorrow. Today. I just don't think it's totally possible. I don't think it's totally possible. Huge contract, but what a statement from a quarterback, your leader. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. If it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? Joe Burrow, people said early retirement. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just a different environment. But look at what he has there. He has Jamar Chase. He has T. Higgins. No defense. Not a great offensive line. So maybe there's some things missing. I get it, but got to be careful. Got to be careful with stuff like this. So it's like, oh, Joe Burrow, he wants out of there. This is a long shot. This is what they call a long shot. But I am with my buddy, Vikings friend. I hear you. I got your text. If Joe Burrow's unhappy and wants out of Cincinnati, the Vikings should take a serious look. Absolutely. I'm just trying to give you a little hope. Could you imagine Joe Burrow as the Minnesota Vikings quarterback? Could you imagine it? Now that has Super Bowl written all over it. That has Super Bowl written all over it. Too bad it's I've closed the book already. It's done. Sorry. It's a long shot. Coming right back, Sam Herder, FCS senior analyst, talking USD in Montana first. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sport.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people, from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Remember, you can stream us on X, at Nate Brown Show. We are live right now. You can stream our video. Welcome in studio. Festive. We got the Christmas tree up. The bowl game Christmas tree. Hey, are we going to have to take some of those bowl games down and have all these opt-outs? We have the bowl game Christmas tree. We have to start coming up with something else. But it's good stuff in the studio. Stream us on X, at Nate Brown Show. Welcome in. Sam Herder's on tonight. FCS senior analyst for HeroSports.com. Best coverage of the FCS guys is Hero Sports. Sam, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good. Always good to be on. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man. Let's break some stuff down. So, first, let's go to your thoughts on the North Dakota State scenario. I mean, I just want your take now that we're coming up on the quarterfinals, that North Dakota State's out for the first time in forever. What is your feeling on this as Illinois State somehow, some way knocked them off? How stunned were you?
Yeah, it was a stunning result, no doubt about that. And you kept on because we've seen NDSU be in closer battles than anticipated early on in the playoffs. I mean, they've had, even last year, they had a close game against Abilene Christian for a little bit, and even in the quarterfinals against Mercer, it was a pretty close game for 2.5, 3 quarters, but you always were kind of just waiting on NDSU to put the hammer down, and it seemed like a couple of different times in the second half when the Bison held a 2-score lead. Their defense holds on 4th down in the red zone, and you feel like, okay, that was probably the moment there where they put the hammer down, but credit to Illinois State, they kept on getting stops. They kept on flustering that offensive line and Cole Payton. And then, their offense finally was able to punch things in a couple of times in the last few minutes there to come within one, and then, the gutsy decision to go for 2. I definitely thought it was the right call to just go for the win right there, and obviously that paid out for them.
Yeah, it turns out to be the right call if you go for 2 and you get it. But they were like, hey, we're going to take it right here. Brock Spack, the head coach of Illinois State. So how did we get this wrong, Sam, including myself? I watched NDSU, and I said it early on this show. I'm not an FCS expert, but I watch a lot of the games. I'm like, they just seem like they're quite a bit better. And I know maybe 1 week is what it is, but did we get this wrong about NDSU being a lot better than everybody?
Well, I think, yes. The answer to the question is obviously yes. I think what happened was probably we overvalued that win in Brookings, because at the time, remember, it was number 1 versus number 2, and NDSU goes to Brookings and wins 38-7. And with how NDSU looked, the overall thought was like, okay, it is NDSU versus the field, and even if Chase Mason had played that game, like the Bison still would have won by a couple of scores because they looked that good. Well, we found out pretty quickly after. I remember saying the next week, like, maybe we got ahead of ourselves, because that next week, NDSU barely beat Youngstown State, and I believe that was the week that South Dakota State lost to Indiana State. So all of a sudden I was kind of backtracking a little bit, saying, well, I still think NDSU is the best team, but maybe we overreacted to that, NDSU dominating number 2 South Dakota State. We overreacted a little bit too much because South Dakota State might be down bad, right now. And then, NDSU, barely snuck by UND, on the road. So at that point, it was like, well, NDSU has some vulnerabilities, but, they took care of business in the last 2 weeks of the regular season. They didn't really get tested then. So I think we kind of viewed things going into the playoffs that it was NDSU versus the field. And, the odds showed that with the Bison being at -300 to win it all. The next highest was Montana State at around +500.
Right.
I think a part of that was just, the books probably knowing they're going to get a lot of money on NDSU. So if you put NDSU at -150, they're probably going to take a whole lot of money, on NDSU. So they probably, bumped up that number a little bit as far as making it more favorable for NDSU. But no doubt, it was a stunner to see NDSU exit the playoffs that early.
Yeah, wild. Sam Herder on tonight, HeroSports.com, FCS senior analyst. So the Jacks get beat by Montana. Were you surprised about anything, how that game went? Jackrabbits were in it, really. They couldn't get stops and gave up a 50 spot. Were you surprised by anything?
I thought South Dakota State would be able to run the ball a little bit better, especially going downhill on Montana. Some teams have been able to find success doing that, and it looked like the Jackrabbits, with how their offensive line was playing in the last 2 games against UND, and then in the first round against New Hampshire, it felt like they found something there with a reshuffled offensive line in the ground game, but they couldn't get that going, so they had to rely on Chase Mason's arm quite a bit, a lot more than probably what they wanted to. And I thought, Mason played pretty good for the most part, but when you don't have that balance, you're going to run into trouble, especially when you're playing a defense like Montana, and you go into that environment. That's tough. I guess to a certain extent, pretty surprised that Montana was able to get 50 points on the board. At the same time, though, I wasn't totally sold on how good South Dakota State's defense was. They just seemed pretty leaky, especially in the second half of the year. So I thought the Grizz would be able to score a decent amount of points, but yeah, I don't think anyone was predicting them to put 50 up on the Jackrabbits.
So how good is USD playing right now? How do you see the matchup with Montana? Lorenzo Fenner, 15 touchdowns, great wide receiver. Phillips, just a great running back. Bauman, we know him. Is USD a test here for Montana?
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a good game, and I think South Dakota matches up better with Montana compared to South Dakota State because, like I talked about, that downhill rushing attack. When you can get that established with Phillips, that's when you hit the play action. And South Dakota is so good in their play action game. I mean, they go under center a lot, and that's usually not something the defense sees quite a bit. When the defense sees play action, usually it's in shotgun formation where the quarterback puts the ball into the gut of the running back, he pulls it and throws it. Well, if you're under center, the quarterback at times turns his back to the defense to go through that play action read. And sometimes it can be tougher for a defense to really see where the ball is going. And so I think if USD can establish that downhill rushing attack, then that opens up the passing game. And, with the emergence of Lorenzo Fenner, one of the top receivers in the FCS now, he's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities because Montana certainly trusts its two cornerbacks, especially with Keon Loud back in the lineup. They're going to trust those guys to lock down USD's receivers one-on-one to try to slow down that rushing attack. And so they'll have opportunities for one-on-one matchups. Bauman just has to deliver accurate balls, which he has been able to do, and there might be a lot of 50-50 balls out there, and USD's receivers need to win those battles if they want a chance here.
I do look at it and say Montana's offense is high-powered. We know that. USD's defense shut out Mercer. Mercer just really struggled from the start. That was a mismatch. I was like, man, this is a mismatch. Can USD's defense slow down Montana?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone slows down that offense with how they're rolling, but you just want to contain them, right? Like, you're not going to hold Montana to 14 points. I mean, there's probably not a defense out there, that can do that. But if you can hold them to 24 points, you probably feel pretty confident that your offense can get at least 27 points, on this defense. So I don't know if it's necessarily slowing them down. It's just try to contain them, try to make them drive the whole, the length of the field, because they're going to hit their explosive plays. Eli Gilman, he can pop off a long run, or Wortham, or he can hit an explosive play at any point. So you're going to give up, gash plays here and there. That's just the nature of football, especially when you're playing an offense like Montana's. It's just a matter of holding on third down, or forcing 3 instead of 6 when you get into the red zone. So I don't know if anyone can slow down this Montana offense, but you at least try to contain it as best as you can.
Is 30 the number, Sam? Is that the number? If USD holds Montana under 30, USD wins 30?
Yeah, I think that could be pretty accurate. So I do like how USD's offense is playing right now, especially. I know Mercer was pretty overmatched, but still you hang nearly 50 points on the road in the rain too. So I mean, it's not like the elements were great for good offensive play. So just with how confident they're looking right now, even you go back a couple of weeks and South Dakota, for a while was kind of grinding out wins, but they showed the ability to win shootout games against Southern Illinois a few weeks ago. So they can get into shootouts if they want to. That's not necessarily the comfort level of USD. I mean, they don't want to get into 53-51 type of ball game again, but they have shown the ability to go shot for shot with explosive offenses. But I do think it'll be interesting to see if they try to slow the game down a little bit. The Yotes don't want to play at a super high pace. They want to grind the clock, own the time of possession, establish the run, and then once that defense is feeling a little gashed in the run game, that's when they take the top off of the defense.
USD at Montana Saturday afternoon. Big game coming up in Missoula. Sam Herder talking HeroSports.com, FCS senior analyst. Is Tarleton State the best team on the other side of the bracket?
I think they are. Yeah. I mean, I think they answered the call this last weekend against UND and really won pretty dominantly there. And I thought they could match up physically, but you just don't know until you see it how these more southern teams match up physically. But I thought the Texans answered the call there against UND, and they'll face another physical test this weekend against Villanova, who also plays a physical brand of football. But Tarleton's at home, so you favor them there. And then if they win, if they were to play Illinois State, the Redbirds might be running on fumes by that point. Or if they play UC Davis, that's a type of shootout type of game we could see, Tarleton State versus UC Davis, and I think you like Tarleton and that style of matchup. So they certainly are the favorites now. on that side of the bracket. They have the home field advantage. I think they're built well, great depth on defense. They can stop the run, force a lot of turnovers as well, a lot of interceptions. And then offensively, they're very balanced. You take away the run, they can throw the ball. If your defense is kind of taking away, the pass and kind of throw off the passing game a little bit, they were certainly more than good enough in the run game to do their damage there. So I really like how Tarleton is built to make a run at the national championship.
How about this? Northern Arizona head coach Brian Wright did a press conference, and the transfer portal's opening up January 2nd, but players are already declaring, hey, I'm going to go to the transfer portal. We've seen numerous programs, the Jackrabbits and more, have players say, I'm heading out. Northern Arizona coach said they did their own study on the Big Sky Conference transfers and the Northern Arizona transfers. And the head coach said 14% of the players that transferred played more snaps or the same number as they did in the FCS at their previous school. So 14%. His point is, guys are heading into the transfer portal. There's a huge percentage not getting better opportunities. And what say you?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly matches up with my own, research. Every year I do an article in mid-January, late January about how did FCS to FBS transfers perform, and I go transfer by transfer, all nearly 400 of them, 300 to 400 of them, I want to say, and I look at what they did the previous year. I look at how many snaps they played at their new school, and I don't compare, as far as number of snaps, like did they play more or less, but I usually just, tally how many snaps they play, and 55% of them played less than 300 snaps at their FBS school, and 300 snaps is a decent amount, but on average, I would say a college football player plays between 600 and 700 snaps a season, so a majority of these transfers aren't playing the average number of snaps. So there are a lot of success stories out there. You hear a lot about the success stories, but you also see a lot of this first team all conference player. He goes to a new school and he plays 120 snaps and has 20 carries, or he plays 130 snaps on defense and has 20 tackles. So it is unfortunate to see some of these guys just kind of go up to a level. They do get a paycheck, but their overall snaps that they play really decreases when they move up a level.
Yeah, I thought you'd be interested in that. You've done some work on that. NAU said they just looked at their players in the Big Sky Conference this past year. Only 14% of transfers moved on to play more snaps or the same number of snaps. So the grass isn't always greener. Well, it might be greener with money, but Sam Herder on tonight, FCS senior analyst, breaking it down. It's USD Montana. That's the big one we're watching. HeroSports.com, and he's on X at Sam Herder FCS. Appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Sam Herder, one of the best all season long. Follow him at Sam Herder FCS on X, and he's at HeroSports.com. Let's go East River meets West River for a nice time with Craig Maddock. A lot to discuss in South Dakota sports. Craig Maddock coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Keep your cash and spend ours. Our Black Friday sale is back. Get 20% off our clean replacement windows and ensemble entry doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. You pay nothing until 2027. Plus, enjoy a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. Hurry! This Black Friday event is only here till December 13th. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show on tonight, Thursday edition of the program. Good stuff tonight. Went out to Ann Arbor, Michigan. The biggest story in sports is in Michigan, right, with Sharon Moore and a mess. Anthony Broom on 3 Sports, Michigan football beat writer, joined us from Ann Arbor. Lucky to get him tonight. He's with thewolverine.com. He was on tonight. Sundance Wicks joined us tonight. Wyoming Cowboys men's basketball coach. So some great guests tonight. Wyoming's playing South Dakota State at the Sanford Pentagon Monday. We had Sundance on, bringing the energy, loving it and living it, the Sundance Wicks way. If you missed parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's always there. Wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to us. Apple, Spotify, Amazon. So if you missed some of the live show, we have every show there. Search the Nate Brown Show wherever you get your favorite podcasts, right? Craig Maddock has a podcast. He does. It's called In Play. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts. Interviews some of the greats, some of the legends across South Dakota. Craig, how are you?
Hey, not too bad. Just coming off a cold, if you can't tell. In fact, I lost my voice on Saturday.
Oh.
And when I'm at the Vikings game on Sunday, I can't yell or cheer or anything. So it was a very interesting day.
Oh, you were the only
Sunday
one
at U.S. Bank Stadium.
You were the only one not cheering that 31-0 win. I mean, that was unbelievable. Speaking of the Vikings, hang on a second here. BetMGM has just posted. They said the number one option for Joe Burrow, if he's out in Cincinnati, if he's just tired of it, he just wants to get out, is the Minnesota Vikings. Is this just make-believe Thursday, or is this... Joe said he's not having fun. He's not having fun.
Well, is that coming more from his agent, or is it more coming from him? Sometimes this is the point where the agents are the ones that will slowly pinpoint the story to help their particular agent, which could eventually give them a bunch more money here down the road. I don't know. I like Burrow.
I love Burrow.
You know what? And he's had weapons
Burrow
there, but things are just not working right now for him.
If you had Joe Burrow and the Minnesota Vikings, now you're talking, Craig. Come on. Now you're going to have a Super Bowl run in you.
No, he's no Bo Nix, but I tell you what.
Come on.
I think Vikings fans, we have to stay away from all these free agents and the wild card people.
What?
They've been trying to develop their own quarterback. All right, he's only played 7 games. Okay?
Hang on.
I'm going to give him one more game.
My goodness. You're not telling me tonight, if Joe Burrow said he's not having fun, I've been through a lot, it's not fun anymore, and then he got his way out of Cincinnati, you're not telling me that you would pass on Joe Burrow?
I didn't say we'd pass. I would listen, but I don't see it happening.
Okay. Boy, sad.
Sad. There's going to be a lot of free agents for the Vikings next year, so they're going to have some cap money available. But you know what? Burrow is a ton of money.
Yes.
And I always get a little nervous when you're spending, 20 to 30% of your cap on one person, on your quarterback. I get a little nervous on that. And, right now the Vikings have it easy. You got the cheap guy. And he's playing like the cheap guy.
That's what I mean.
But let's see what happens here in the next rest of the season.
You get nervous with the big money quarterback. I get nervous with J.J. McCarthy. But anyway, hey, let me ask you about something. The Michigan football story is just absolutely crazy. And the head coach gets fired yesterday, and now there's potential charges, his arraignment tomorrow. And so we're going to find out more there. It's ugly. The number one name I had on a Michigan football writer tonight, he said the search for a new Michigan football coach starts with Kalen DeBoer. What do you say to that?
Well, Kalen, if he wanted to get back into the Big Ten, certainly could have gone to Penn State if he wanted to. I've heard another NFL coach, not Jim, but John Harbaugh. Michigan is going to need someone to come in who certainly has name recognition, but can take a program and calm everybody down. Calm everybody. This is a horrific story right now in Michigan. It's horrific. How things have gone from national championship from a couple of years ago to something that is just horrific.
Yeah.
Threatening to kill people and taking your own life and all that kind of stuff on a guy who, just 2 years ago they were on top.
Yeah.
So it is so bad. So you got to bring somebody in who has a history of building a program, name recognition, and can calm everybody in Michigan right now what's going on.
Do you have your doubts that Kalen would leave Alabama? Here's how I see it, Craig. Here's what I felt from South Dakota. The national media has tried telling everybody it's not a good fit in Alabama. Kalen's just having a bad time. They lose to Florida State. They've been trying to get him out of there from the start, and I don't think that's the real story. Do you have your doubts that Kalen DeBoer would leave Alabama to get out of there and go to Michigan?
I can't see that. I knew at the time that when he was at Washington that I knew that Michigan was on the list. Michigan had stated that if Harbaugh was leaving, they were going to go after Kalen DeBoer. Well, so did Alabama at that same time. It wouldn't be the first time that Michigan has told the folks between Kalen and the folks in Michigan that they want to talk to him. So is Michigan a better program than Alabama? Alabama's the number one program in the country.
I know. I think so. Yeah, huge brand.
And unless the people in Alabama at the school, if they think they don't want him anymore, he's gone. But I can't see him leaving on his own to go to Michigan. I think Alabama's still growing pains. going on.
No, I'm with you. Craig Maddock on tonight, SDPB Sports. Appreciate his time after a cold. He is battling here on the Nate Brown Show. Let's go to something here that I want Craig Maddock's expertise from your long time in South Dakota sports. So USD's playing Montana in the FCS quarterfinals in Missoula Saturday. There's people throwing around stuff that there's a portion of Jacks fans that are cheering for USD. So I turned it into my question of the day. I've got over 400 votes, and 60% of the audience, well, it's 59%. 59% say no Jacks fan should ever cheer for USD. 41% say, yes, there's a portion of Jacks fans that want USD to win. Where is the truth?
I think SDSU fans, a lot like NDSU fans, if whom they call the little sister of the league, has an opportunity to advance higher than where they are not going to be cheering for them.
Okay, so you do not.
They are not going to cheer for Coyotes for any success.
Would it surprise you that I've gotten numerous texts from Jacks fans? They say they're Jacks fans and Jacks alums. Numerous texts tonight saying they are cheering for USD. Does that surprise you?
That does surprise me. I mean, we think we're all one family in the football world. But no, our allegiance is pretty high, whether you're a Packer fan, hoping that the Vikings do well or the Bears do well, excuse me, or on the college level, if you're a Jack fan or a Bison fan, they're not really going to be wearing the other school's colors to hope that they maybe win a national championship.
I am with you. I am with you on that. I think if you're a passionate Jacks fan, you can't root for USD. But I have heard from some Jacks fans, at least they say that they are rooting for USD for South Dakota. That's interesting.
They're married to one.
Okay.
That might change.
Okay, that's right. The boss, whatever the boss says. Last one for Craig Maddock tonight. O'Gorman girls, high school basketball is underway. The O'Gorman girls have won 50 games in a row. When are they going to snap the streak? They play a top team, Brandon Valley, tonight.
It would seem that, your first game of the season, sometimes things just, you don't know what to expect out of your team the first night out. I would be shocked if the streak goes on a lot longer. But they are loaded, no doubt. They are loaded. But when you're dealing with holds, excuse me, apologize for that. Injuries during the season, you just never know. I mean, the Knights have been. You got to have a little luck involved too, because you haven't had any major injuries with your stars over the last couple of years. I certainly expect them to be the favorites throughout the whole season, but I don't know. I still think the streak will go on for a little bit, but there's going to be a time somewhere during the season where they might get knocked off.
Okay, O'Gorman girls playing Brandon Valley. That's a huge game in AA tonight. O'Gorman has won 50 games in a row. That's something. Craig Maddock tonight, SDPB Sports. Your podcast is in play, and you've interviewed who?
Well, it should be released any day now. One of, this was, back in the 70s, early 70s, girls didn't have any sanctioned volleyball or basketball to be participating in. And here's a lady who, she was right on the tail end of basketball when it was sanctioned. Played some basketball, and then went to Huron College, did basketball and volleyball, and then started her own volleyball program when she went to DeSmet to be a teacher. Had a little success. In fact, that was when we had one class of volleyball.
Wow.
Here's DeSmet. They make the state tournament 5 years in a row, and they're playing, excuse me, the first couple of years. They're playing Rapid City Stevens and Central those first couple of years. And
wow.
So some success, and then went into officiating. And a really well-respected official in the state over 40 years. We talked with Kim Weed, And that podcast is going to get released here any day now. And I'll give you a tip here, too. Before Christmas, the all-time individual champion of titles when it comes to gymnastics, and nobody else is really close. It's a fun story, and that will be coming up before Christmas.
All right.
In play.
Couple of weeks and couple of podcasts coming out. SDPB Sports, it's in play. Search for it where you get your podcast and at SDPB Sports. Craig, good to have you, man. Work on that voice. You're good. I appreciate you.
Hey, always appreciate you letting me join in, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot. Craig Maddock tonight. East River meets West River from SDPB Sports, longtime Sioux Falls broadcaster. Who's hot and who's not? We do it every night at this time. There's a new idea from the NFL for their refs. I actually like it. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Shop the best deals of the season at Splash City. Stay warm, relaxed, and save thousands on Jacuzzi and Sundance's highest quality hot tubs and saunas. With a free accessory package, you only have until Christmas Eve to stop in your local Splash City to learn more about these amazing deals. Jacuzzi and Sundance's highest quality in hot tubs and saunas to warm up inside and outside all winter long.
Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City. It's time to make a splash. You've earned it.
As the official mascot of Country Hearth Breads and literally made of dough, Lofi would like to put a little more jingle in your holiday this season by giving you a chance to win some dough yourself. Visit countryhearthbreads.com/sweeps and enter today for your chance to win $500 or $1,000. Winners will each receive a check that can be used for travel, gifts, or even Lofi's personal choice, lots and lots of bread and buns for all your holiday celebrations. So get your buns over to countryhearthbreads.com/sweeps and enter today. Good luck.
We all know the drill. Packing the car, hitting the airport, traveling all over the country so our kids can play in tourneys in another state. But imagine bringing those tournaments to Rapid City. Year-round entertainment, shopping, dining. Millions in new revenue for Rapid City instead of Sioux Falls, Denver, or Omaha. A yes vote supports the sports complex. We win by showing up and voting yes on January 20th. Join the team at teamrapidcity.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Growth.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for rain showers mixing with then changing to snow. Tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 20. Winds out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected. Tomorrow, snow likely. High temperatures reach up to 24. 1 to 3 inches of snow tomorrow through Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 36.
Attention football fans, the BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort has it all. Watch your team on massive high-definition screens while enjoying live betting. Keep some skin in the game even when the odds don't go your way. Enter Jack's Second Chance Mulligan Drawing by dropping your losing ticket for a shot at up to $200 in Cadillac cash every week. Satisfy your craving with mouth-watering Mexican cuisine from Guadalajara's or choose from 4 other food vendors, all while sipping on your favorite drinks. The BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your game play out?
Life changes fast. Starting a business, getting married, buying a house, growing your family. Have you taken steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company can help you get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
City driving might feel routine, but it's tough on your car. All those quick starts, hard stops, endless red lights, and long idle times. They wear things down fast. Brakes, fluids, engine components, they all take a beating. That's where Al's D&I Repair in Rapid City comes in. We handle the maintenance that keeps your vehicle ready for whatever the city throws at it. Al's D&I, fixing it right since 77. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
All right, welcome in. Who's Hot and Who's Not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Stop by tonight, this week, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, Pizza Ranch East. Also in Brandon, great locations, locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch, and 2 locations in Rapid City, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Pizza Ranch Who's Hot category going to the NFL. They actually have this idea for their refs and their new collective bargaining agreement. Better pay for better calls. At least they're trying to get that in. Yes, they're trying to tie compensation to their performance reviews. They review every game the refs have, and they want to pay better refs better. What an idea. We'll see if the refs go for it. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, Missouri State. They left the FCS. They're going to a bowl game. They just lost their head football coach. Missouri State back to square one. Ryan Beard going to Coastal Carolina. So Missouri State back looking for a coach. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. A fun week, a great lineup of guests across the board. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Everybody enjoy the weekend.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable